Alright, so whenever I left pasture last night, I'd said could have been worse. I could have lost uh, heifer as well. And came out here this morning. She's dead as a doornail. So, pretty much where I left her, she moved a little bit. I lost her. So, not sure what I'm going to do with her. Let's go check on the other ones, I guess. Alright, checked on the other ones. Everything's fine. Nobody's in labor at the moment. So this area here is where I'm going to fence in across here. Then I'll have this little area here I can put hay out there for them. And we'll sort them out. And the ones that I think are getting close to having calves, we'll get them up and get them in this little spot once I get the fence moved. I'll probably pull up H-post over there and move it over here. I don't have a good way to dig a hole to put that H-post in, so I don't know, it may be a later date project. May just tie it into the T-post for now. I can pull it out with the tractor probably pretty easy. Really, I just need some post hole diggers. So we'll get this fenced off, and that should still give me plenty of room to get to the back side of my hay bales here, and then still be able to get to my gate, get in and out right there. And if I've got them in this pasture that you're looking at, I can get them in here through the pins. If I've got them in this pasture, I can get them in here through a gate over there by the pins. And if they're over where they're at now, I can either get them in this pasture or the other one first, or I could just bring them straight through here. The trouble is they get distracted by the, smorgasbord over here. So kind of an all-you-can-eat buffet, if you will. So long night, making out to be even longer day for me. So this sucks. And I guess what really sucks is if I had done this before and had this right here, then maybe, none of this would have happened. Hard to say. Maybe she still would have had trouble. Maybe I still would have lost them both. Maybe I would have only lost the calf if I could have got it out of her sooner. I don't know. So, I just don't know. Hard to say. So, first things first, I'm running to town and get a proper rope, a lariat. I'd almost bought one before, then kind of laughed at myself and thought, what do you think you are, a rodeo now? Just because I have a few cows. Turns out, though, that would have been a good thing to have last night. So we're going to do that and get some proper pulling chains. I had ropes. They were strong enough, they worked, but some proper chains would be the way to go. So we'll get those, have them on hand. And then a come along. I'm going to find a come along. I'm sure they'll have them at Atwood's. Use that once I've got them in the head gate. I can use that to put pressure on the calf as I'm trying to pull it, should I have to. And the guy that I'd bought these last 26 of them from, he had a setup. He kind of showed me his setup for pulling a calf if he had to, and that's what he was using. That made sense, I think. So anyhow, we're going to do that. So we'll pull this fence down and move it. I'll get the tractor, pull that H-post out over there, and try to get it moved. I may just try to dig this out with, little clamshell post hole diggers. I'll have to buy some. I need some anyway, though. Someday I want to have an auger for the back of the tractor, but I don't. So I'm running to town, and I'll be back out here. Alright, so that will complete the pediatric ward of the GRT home for single mothers. Put them in here. This is the area for those in labor or about to be. So took fence down over here. This one, I've left that H post up over there for now, just because I don't have a way to. Barbed wire got my shirt. I don't have a way to put it back in anywhere. Eventually, though, it will go over here. I've made a stretch gate right here. It's just tied off to this other T-post. That's not very sturdy. So eventually, right here, I'll put in the that H-post, and then I'll move the stretch gate down so that it's tying, stretching and tying up to H-post instead of just another T-post. That'll be stronger. Still got some barbed wire and stuff laying around I got to clean up, but we're going to go feed hay and check on the cattle again. Then I'll come back and finish this up. If I have time today, well, that's the other thing I need to do is get a bale of hay in here for them. If I have time today, I'm going to try and sort out some of the ones that I think are close and get them in here. No, that's not true. Before I can do that, I got to have a water source for them. So I've got to fix the dewar. I still haven't done that. I've got brazing wire to do that, so I'm going to feed hay and go check on them first, and then I'll see if I can get that patched up, go find that hole and fill it in. So do that and then get it in here so that I can get water for them. So that'll be the next step. But other than that, they've got a little bit of grass to kind of eat on here. It is pretty wet over here in this area, so they're going to tear it up, and that's too bad. And then, of course, I'll put hay in here, and I'll just have to feed protein in pellet form or whatever while they're in here. And then once their calves are on the ground and have been for a few days, and I'm confident that they can rejoin the herd, then they will. And then my uncle gave me a good idea. He said what he would do is, once I've got about 10 calves on the ground, separate them out of the rest of the herd, them and their mothers, into different pasture. So I've been thinking about this, and I think what I'm going to do, and I was thinking about moving all of them, but I think what I'll do is I'll leave them all where they're at, and then I've got 8 on the ground right now, calves. Didn't show much of that other one that I got yesterday, so that was a bittersweet day, I guess. Did have one calf successfully on the ground, and then, of course, everything went wrong with number 28. But I'm going to leave them all over here, and then once I've got a couple more of them, then I'm going to put them back in this pasture where I had to feed, or rather water, out of a dewar. Instead of watering out of the dewar, though, I'm going to open up the gate way down there, which will also give them access to this pasture off over here, and that has a pond in it. So then I'll be feeding hay and protein for them over here, and hay and protein for the rest of them that have not had calves yet over there. And he said what he would do is cut them as soon as they have the calf, cut them back into the herd, this herd, for like the first 5 or 6 days or so. So, roughly a week. And I'll probably just base that on where my weekends fall. Give them at least 5 days over here. If they end up in here a little bit longer, it's not a huge deal. What that does, though, is when they're the first five days or so that the calf is alive, they're real susceptible to scours and other diseases for that matter. And so that will keep any of that in that pasture, and then we'll put them back over here, separate them out, and it's just a biosecurity measure, I guess. I think it's a technical word for that. So we're just keeping them separated. That way I've got my calves and young ones separated from the rest of them. That will also thin this herd down as they as they have their calves, and it will make it easier for me to check on the ones as I'm waiting on them to have calves. Does that make sense? So fewer animals to look at and look for signs of, about to be given birth. It just thins all that down, and it'll make it easier to keep an eye on them. So, and then keep the calves separated off. So we'll do that. I'll probably wait. He said 10 is what he recommended. So I'll probably go off of that and wait. I've got a couple more there close, so it won't be long. And then we'll give them a week in this pasture with their calves, and then we'll start sorting them. And hopefully we'll be able to start utilizing this little area. And as they get close, I can sort them into this little area here and keep them up close, keep a close eye on them. It'll be easier to come out and check them in the morning before work because they'll be right here. I won't have to go find them. And then if there is anything wrong, I can call into work and help them or whatever the case, whatever I need to do. So you may recall whenever I put this little piece of fence up right here, I had left the roll of wire connected to the end of it, and it ended up being the perfect amount of wire to get the rest of the way to that fence there. So this is the fence that I took out, the whole thing. I just rolled it up, so now I've got it in case I need to make another fence somewhere. Nice little convenient fence roll that I can roll out this panel. And yeah, so that's why I didn't cut that off of there, though. I didn't know that this is what I was going to need it for. But as I think I said in that video, it didn't make sense to just cut that tiny little piece off of there. Easier just to leave it all connected to the roll, and then if I needed the whole roll for something, I would still have the whole roll, and it ended up being right through here. So alright, gonna go feed hay. I still haven't figured out what to do with 28, the dead one. Having trouble getting hold of my buddy down the road. I know he's lost cows in the past, so I don't know what he did with them. So I don't know. I'm entertaining a couple different ideas. One thing my uncle said he's done is just bury them in sawdust, and they'll compost basically, and then they'll just be gone. Another option would be to drag her off somewhere and let coyotes and whatnot clean her up. But I don't really have a good place to do that because I don't want them up here next to all the other cows learning that they can eat those. A whole big cow, that's a lot of food for a coyote. Several coyotes. So I don't really love that option. He also said sometimes there's a mouse. Stupid pack rats. Let me show you this. Sometimes there's like a truck, like a service that'll come by and pick them up. I don't know if there is one in the area. If there is, I might go that route. And then I'd also thought about trying to burn her. So I've got a whole bunch of brush. It's out here though. And so I'd have to drag it all over here and then set her, drag her somewhere and cover up with brush and see if I could get her to burn. Look at this. These stupid mice, rats, or pack rats is what they are. I had this seat sitting up on top of one of these little V's in the hay bales there while I was working on it for just a day or two. I came back to put it back on there. Still not working, by the way, but they had chewed the seat all to pieces. Stupid things. I stomped a big one the other day. They're real cocky whenever I empty one of these feed bags and just throw it down, and then I'll be off just doing something not even haven't even taken the feed out to the cows yet, and the bags will start moving around. There'll be a big old pack rat in there, and so sometimes if I'm quick I can jump on the bag and squish them, kill them. I've got a couple of them. I killed one the other day. It looked like a small cat. It's huge. I lost half a bag of feed a while back too to mice. I went to pick it up and it was light, and I looked at the side of it. It had a big old hole in the side of it, and half the bag was gone. And that's the stupid pack rats. They're not even eating it. They just hide it. They steal it and hide it away. I guess they'll eat it eventually, but they're hard to poison because of that. They'll take all your poison that you put out, and then they just hide it. They don't even eat it, so the poison won't even kill them. All right. Anyway, what's next? Put out hay for these girls and check on them. That's what I'm going to do, and then we'll try and get the doer fixed. All right. So started to look at this, or it was rusted through.
Yeah. This thing's got holes all in it. You can see anywhere it's rusted like this, there's going to be pretty much a hole there. There's still some material holding it together. I mean, look at this. Already over here, torch and stuff. I don't know. See, somebody's come in with some sort of an epoxy and tried to do some repair on it. Whenever I moved it, remember it was full of like concrete on the bottom. That may be why. Or it may be, I don't know. That may be why it's rusted out so bad. And they may have put that in there to try and stop the leak. Crap. Look at areas like that. That's not good. I can see another hole over there. See that? Dang it. So I think this is going to be trash. So I thought I just had one hole. I mean, I guess I did. But as I just started, I got a razor blade or whatever, start kind of prying around and messing with it and looking at it, and yeah, this whole thing is just rotten. So I think we're gonna have to rethink this. One good thing that happened this weekend is this little calf right here. It's number 34. So 8 calves now total. 50 cows. They're all out here eating hay. So I tried to fix the doer. Nothing doing. Not really been my weekend. Bright side, short sleeves. Exercising my right to bear arms. It's nice out. Weather's been great. Rained on me a little bit last night, but not bad. So, I don't know. I'm gonna walk around out here for a little bit and just look at everyone and, I don't know, get ready to start the week, I guess. Yeah. It's been a rough couple of days. It's alright though. It's part of it. Things happen. Hopefully not very often. Talking to my uncle, he said what probably happened is that when I was pulling the calf, it tore her vaginal wall and she basically would have just bled out internally. Sounds about right. The calf was super hard to pull. As you saw, I had to use a 4-wheeler. I struggled on that for a good 45 minutes just pulling by hand. Nothing doing. I wasn't making any progress, so went to other means. May have been a mistake, may have been too rough. I don't know. There's number 20. Still no calf on her. Over here. So, she's the one I've been expecting the longest. So, I thought she would have been one of my first. She is not. So, still pregnant. All the calves I do have are doing really well. The little white face there's eating some hay. Seems a little bit early for him. Number 70 still not doing real great. One with the hurt foot. Worried about her. Anyway, I'm gonna call this one right here, and we'll see you guys next week.